Beginning with a small medial patellar arthrotomy and then dissecting soft tissues just above the patella, I then take a 15 blade and make an incision through the retinaculum, make sure that I can spread down over the capsule, and then tag the retinaculum with a suture. This helps later as far as graft passage and holding the retinaculum up out of the way. I then clear off the superior 50% of medial patella, cleaning off soft tissue, then taking a single all suture anchor, placing it at just above the midpoint of the patella. I like all suture anchor because it's cortically based and only a 1.8 millimeter tunnel, and often you can get this placed between the two previous tunnels. I mark the midpoint of a hamstring allograft and then tie it down to the medial patella, just distal to the midpoint. I then identify the distal quad. Essentially, I make a vertical incision in the junction of the middle and medial quad, and then tunnel through with a curved snap. I bring through a passing suture and then pass the hamstring around the medial third of the quad and then bring it back down medially. Holding the two limbs of the graft, I pass a looped non-absorbable suture and then pass this suture around adjustable looped button. And then once passed through that loop, the sutures are passed back through the graft to lock it in, and the sutures are tied. The remaining ends of the graft are cut. The length of this construct is determined by passing it just over the medial epicondyle with the goal of approximately 25 to 30 millimeters of tissue in the tunnel. Here, just securing the tendon with non-absorbable suture down to the quad tendon. A small stab incision is made just posterior to the medial epicondyle. A loop suture is passed through under the retinaculum. Adductor sulcus is palpated and a guide pin is placed. Isometry of the graft is then checked, pulling the graft through the tunnel around the guide pin. The graft is marked once the patella is confirmed to be centered in the trochlear groove, and then the knee is put through full range of motion, looking to confirm that the graft loosens slightly once it gets to approximately 6 degrees of knee flexion. The tunnel is reamed. Reamer size is based on the size of the graft, and then the graft is then passed through. And the button is brought to the lateral cortex of the femur and then secured down, keeping tension on the graft until the button is fully down. The retinaculum is then closed, overlying the graft, essentially repairing any native MPFL, and the skin is closed with absorbable suture and steri strips.